First up, as promised in the Matto Anomalies video that went out on Friday, we need to announce the winner. So if you check the top pin comment, GG, ping us an email, we have an EU code for Matto Anomalies to give to you. Hi everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp. I hope you've had a lovely weekend so far, and now you're sat down with a nice beverage, ready to check out some barjans. We have a nice eclectic mix of games today, with a few that haven't been on sale for a long time, and some lowest prices ever. As always, it's games that I've played myself, usually we've reviewed them as well, and where possible at the end of each section, I like to put in the review score. If you want to save yourself 5% on any of your games, use code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg to buy your eShop credit. Remember that finishes at the end of this month, you've got a few days left. Get it before it goes, I guess. Alright, what are the best games on sale? Our collective backlogs whelp? Let's find out. First up, we've got to talk about the slightly underrated Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles. Now, although it's a little bit clunky, there's far more to this game than meets the eye when you push through it. It's currently 70% off, taking it down to £6.89 until March the 29th. It's a bit of a hybrid. There's questing, fishing, farming, and a world that almost persists as you go through your adventure, shifting and changing depending on what you're doing. The island itself features 8 different biomes, although I haven't finished this one. I think I did about 2 or 3 of the different areas. And yeah, once you've pushed past that kind of clunkiness and figured all the different mechanics out, it's actually very good. It's just I think a lot of people don't get that far. They kind of hit some of the clunk and are like, nah, not for me. There's a reasonably interesting story as well, and the whole thing fits into a nice little 1.3 gigabyte download. That's Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, 70% off. A big thanks to MagicSpoon for sponsoring this episode. Now, strangely enough, I actually bought a load of MagicSpoon from America before this advert came in, about 6 months before.
It's great for a low carb lifestyle or those who are carb conscious, myself included, as I've been on a bit of a protein diet for the last, 6 months or so, and alongside exercise, which I do a nice bit of swimming, it contributes to a wholesome diet.
Now, if you're interested in MagicSpoon, then their variety pack includes 4 flavours. Peanut butter, which is absolutely my favourite. Cocoa, fruity and frosted, which is my kids' favourite. MagicSpoon cereals have got 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs in each serving. And it's only 140 calories per serving. They're keto-friendly, gluto, grain and soy-free. Make sure to click the link below to grab a variety pack of MagicSpoon cereal and try it out today. Be sure to use promo code SwitchUp at checkout to get $5 off on any order, or go to magicspoon.com/SwitchUp. And MagicSpoon is so confident in their product, it's backed up with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't actually like it for whatever reason, they'll refund you your money with no questions asked. Thanks to those guys for sponsoring this episode. Now, loads of us are kind of sick of roguelike games. There's just so many of them. But there are a couple that got overlooked and I think deserve your attention. You've got Curse of the Dead Gods, which had a very interesting mechanic whereby you took on curses, and if you could survive till the end of the round with them, then they become a positive. This also had some brilliant boss fights, a nice light and dark mechanic, and past tech games did a good job on performance as well. I guess if you're a roguelike fan and really want something else to challenge you and want to pick up a barjan, then this would be a nice option. It's half price at the moment, down to £8.99, which does match the cheapest it's ever been. Word of warning though, is very addictive this. And again, if you want to check out our full review, then I'll pop a link down in the description. It all fits into 4.1 gigs, that's Curse of the Dead Gods, on sale till March the 31st. Now, Sparklight released with not much fanfare, but it has a core following, but it's down 80% to £3.99, which really is a good price for what it offers. Now, it's an action adventure that features 5 large biomes. I think the thing that is going to either put you off or not is the fact that those biomes are actually procedurally generated, although the hub area is handcrafted, so it has a bit of a mixture of the 2 elements. The little hook for me is the fact that you can actually invent your own gadgets, and you'll need to do that to solve some of the puzzles in the game, but it's also a co-op, so if you want to have someone join you, this would be a great one if you've got a kid that wants to get into this style of game and you want to kind of play together. Not bad at all for about £4. It's got a 1.6 gigabyte download, and that sale of Sparklight goes on all the way until April the 10th. Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, it was the first time I'd ever played it on the Nintendo Switch, and I loved it and didn't really know why I'd missed it all those years ago. It's currently half price in the big Square Enix sale. I'm upset that I just called it Enix and not Enix, but hey ho. It tells a brilliant story, all centered around the Kingdom of Dalmasca. It has a cracking soundtrack, there are some excellent boss fights in here. As with so many of the RPGs that I have in my backlog, it's not finished yet, but I think it's well worth recommending. Now, what I will say is it's quite a chunker However, it's 12.6 gigabytes to download, and you're looking at around about 40 to 50 to 100 hours if you're going to go for the completionist run through. That's Final Fantasy XII, 50% off until March the 30th. I do rate Haven for trying something different. You would play as a couple who have essentially escaped a civilization. I don't want to spoil the narrative, but it plays out throughout their romance. What's cool about this is you can actually play this with your partner as well, because it has two-player co-op, where in the combat you each control one of the fighters. And yeah, it does have a combat system that's almost like semi-turn-based / real-time, but you have to work together to defeat the enemies. I think what made this stand out for me were the interactions and the dialogue between the two. It's so natural, and you live aboard this like crashed little ship and then go out on these expeditions around trying to find out information about the area, exactly what's going on and how to escape, whilst cleaning up this weird rust stuff. There's an excuse to just glide around and chill, and then you grind on these weird rails and stuff. As far as gameplay goes, it's good. I wouldn't say it's great, but it has that kind of, it would be a great loading game, you know, one of those you can put on and you just like flying all over the shop, getting rid of that rust, and then you do a little bit of story and then you go and play something else. But that kind of does a bit of a disservice to what is a good game. Now, it's had a few patches as well since it launched. It has a lovely soundtrack, and it fits into a 6.1 gigabyte download. That's Haven, 50% off until April the 2nd. Then we've got Call of Cthulhu, where you play as a private investigator called Pierce, and he goes to this very odd island. Now, if you know your Lovecraftian mythos, then you'll get an idea of what this is all about, particularly as you see a group of men dragging a whale's carcass up the beach, and they're like poking it and prodding it with sticks and things. It's a little macabre, and you're trying to investigate what's going on. But the issue I had with it around launch was performance isn't great, and look, they haven't patched it up as much as they should have. It did receive a couple. I'd class it as playable, but not perfect. But what made it stand out to me at the time was there was this strange mechanic where you're constantly dealing with your own mental state, and it's written in just the right unnerving way to make it very intriguing. Now, as with a few of the games we mentioned on these sales, there are a few issues here and there. It's a little bit clunky, but if you like this style, then I think you'll get a lot out of it. A bit like the Sunken City. This one's developed by Saber 3D. It's 7.4 gigs, and it's Call of Cthulhu, on sale until March the 31st. Demon Turf I likened to a Mario 3D adventure, but in many ways it does things better. But, and it is a very big but, the visual style is Marmite. Some people absolutely love it, some people hate it. I personally thought it was very cool. It's very old school in its layout. You go into specific worlds with items that you have to collect. What I liked about it though was that it had a rewind respawn system. So if you fell to your death, you could kind of rewind back to the last area, but it would use one of a set number of, I think it was flags. Now, the control of it was nice. There were some good boss fights here, and there's also a massive expansion DLC that was released. I just thought it was very, very good. And yeah, I sat through, I think in like 1 or 2 sittings, absolutely blasted this one, which is no mean feat, because that's like 20 hours. Really good game. I enjoyed it a lot. 4.7 gigabytes, is developed by Fabraz, who has an awesome Twitter, you should check it out, and is on sale until March the 27th at 40% off. Alright, then we have Monster Harvest. Now, I know what you're thinking. When this launched, it was a complete mess. Like, it really was. It had the potential to be an incredible game. Combined Stardew Valley-like farming with monster growing / taming aspects, but oh my word, you'd be losing your data, it would be crashing, it would be bugging out every 5 minutes. It was a nightmare release, really. But back in November of 2022, we had the huge update that completely revised many of the mechanics, fixed all of the systems, and added in some much wanted things like house customization changes and a plethora of bug fixes. I mean, more bug fixes than you can shake a stick at. And I do like to commend that, because it doesn't necessarily bring them any more money by spending the time and properly fixing up their game. In many ways, a sensible option would be just to leave it out there, stick it on sale every 5 minutes, and not improve it. But they haven't done that. They've actually taken the time to not only fix most of the bugs, like it still needs a little bit of work potentially, but they've included a ton of new content, and I salute that. And when it's down to £3.74, a large portion of chips and half a Savoy, you must pay attention to it. It does have a physical as well, if that's the way that you like to go, but just bear in mind you're going to need to download some serious patch action before you'll be playing. The whole thing fits into 1.6 gigabytes though, so it's not going to be a massive patch. Monster Harvest is 75% off until April the 10th. Glen reviewed Blossom Tales 2 for us, the Minotaur prince, on the channel, and I think his only real critique was that it's just a bit safe. That is to say, it's very much like the first game, which was good, so it's not a huge criticism, but sometimes you do look to try and see them expand or improve some of the areas. Now, it still tells an interesting story. It has that lovely top-down style, very much old-school Zelda, and there are loads of different weapons, abilities, and dungeons to work your way through. Has a really nice whimsical art style as well as soundtrack. It would have been nice if they'd have put in a two-player co-op, I've got to say, just personally, I think it would have worked nicely. It all fits into a Diddy 324 megabyte package, but yeah, we thought it was very good. And for this price, it's even better. It's down to £7.97. That's Blossom Tales 2 until March the 27th. Alright, then we've got Furi, the Modore edition, which was initially kind of brought to my attention by Alex over at Switch Corner, because he kept banging on about how good it was, and I was like, okay, I'll check that out. And it is a very, very good game. Now, this edition includes, obviously, the Onimusha DLC that they released, which was a new character, and it's had tons of updates and improvements since the game first came out. It's a bit of a arena battler hybrid, this one, but it's so slick and it plays so well while still managing to tell an interesting tale. It's published by the Game Bakers and it's 60% off. That takes it down to £8.79, and the whole thing fits into a reasonably tidy 2 gigs. That's Furi, the Modore edition, 60% off until April the 2nd. My hidden gem of the week is Luca Born of a Dream. It's been my gem before, but a long time ago, and I still don't think there are many people that have played it. Don't let the nightmarish art style put you off. It has brilliant hack and slash gameplay, and you can tweak the way that you perform different moves. So you tweak essentially the loadout of actions to make combat suit your style. You'll be dodging in slow motion, parrying back moves, and there's a rewind mechanic as well. I thought this was very cool. Felt like stepping back into the Spectrum days, but with a load of modern twists. If you're after something a little bit different, it's not stupidly long either. You could finish this in around about 7 to 10 hours, and it's about 1.4 gigs. It's Luca Born of a Dream, 60% off until March the 27th. The kids pick this week is only available in the US on sale at the moment, I'm afraid, but it's Lego Worlds. Now, I can't stop my kids playing this. They absolutely love it. It's 80% off at the moment in America, down to $5.99. And for that price, I mean, the amount of chilled quiet you're gonna get while they play over there somewhere with the door closed. No, I'm only joking. While they enjoy themselves is priceless, if you ask me. It has 2-player split screen co-op. No, the performance isn't perfect on Switch. Do my kids care? They don't give a monkeys. They're too busy digging a giant hole in the ground and then pushing the other one into it with some form of digger they found, and then giggling while they fire missiles at the other person's house. That one fits into 2.9 gigs. It does have online multiplayer as well, and there's a big adventure mode that they can work through together. Now, yes, adults will enjoy this one. I do enjoy it, I'm not going to lie, but it just gets irritating when you're trying to make something and it gets exploded from the corner of your eye. That sale for Lego Worlds goes on until April the 10th. It's 80% off. A couple of honourable mentions. Life is Strange True Colours is currently 84% off at Argos here in the UK if you're a physical collector. That takes it down to £7.99. That is a real steal. The fun little Kogan Sword of Rewind is down 40% to £13.49, which is a side-scrolling 2D action game. And the lovely Golden Force is only a few quid as well. There's just too many games to choose from. Let me know down in the comments what you've picked up. A big thanks to all of you that do enjoy the content, and to any of you that watched the little MagicSpoon advert in this episode. I'm sure you had a bit of a chuckle. It's tasty stuff though, I'll warn you. They sent me a big multi-box for the advert, and a big chunk of it didn't survive to the final edit. Thanks to our Patreons and members. If you want to save 5%, use code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg, and we also have a PlayAsia link so you can save 5% on physicals. It's all in the description, as well as some other stuff. Have a lovely Monday when it does get to that. I hope you're having a nice evening. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys. See ya!